Right, welcome to our webinar. This afternoon, I'm the master of ceremony here, and I'm really happy to introduce you to our panelists. So first of all, we have Jelte from Camunda. He's a telco veteran. He's spent a couple of years in the industry. I think I read 20 plus. I don't want to be rude, but the track record is quite impressive. So I've seen Ericsson, Telenor, Enea, all of these great names from our industry on the list, and I think he can share lots of valuable insights here. Currently, he's a solution consultant at Camunda. He's not alone. He brought Werner. He's a enterprise account executive, also at Camunda. He has an impressive track record in the tech space, from what I've seen, so should offer great insights with regards to his perspective on everything regarding agentic processes and the underlying data and cloud infrastructure. So really looking forward to this input. And from the mpmX side, from our side, we have Florian. He's been working in the Camunda ecosystem for a while now and is currently a solution architect at mpmX. So working on the interface between processes, process modeling, analytics, AI. Florian's background is not only in technology, he's also looking into innovation, startups. He's got a great podcast, so I believe it's in German. Any German speakers should give it a listen. Really great insights there. And last but not least, there's Lucas. He's the account exec on our side. He's been an expert in the process mining field. He's been with mpmX for a while now, and he's looking after our telco customers. So most of the use cases that have been built with mpmX in the telco space have been under his supervision. I would probably not say, but definitely accompanied by him. Myself, I'm Boris. I'm the VP for Growth and Strategy at mpmX, and I want to greet you very warmly to this webinar. So I'll be handing off to Jelte in a second, but just to give you a little bit of context, you all know why you're here. We're looking at a huge transformation in the sphere of agentic AI and AI's impact on the way that we do business, and it's got a huge impact on the way that telcos can serve their customers in their market. So Jelte, off to you. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to meet you and nice to be here. I will share the screen. That's good. Did we share? Yes, you can see my screen, right? Good. I would like to give you a brief introduction of why we are here in the telecom trends and why this webinar is relevant for you. I have a long history in the telco, all the way from development up to strategic product management. As a strategic product manager, I have been looking a long time at, where is actually the revenue, where is the money? We see that in the generations. We add new generations of mobile cores, and we add more complexity, more cost, and the revenue is not always following. 2G was a success. 3G was not really. It was a kind of data with 2G. 4G was a big global success that we have connected the whole world and everybody's using it and everybody's connected all of the time. And then came 5G. What did 5G actually bring? Well, I did 6 years ago already. I looked at all the retail, what mobile network operators in the world were publishing on the website. Everybody gives it away for free. In the meanwhile, you have rolled out a new radio network. So the cost have increased and the revenue is flat. And why is that? Well, there are a few actually factors for that. Have you seen any difference from your consumer perspective that 5G brings you? Many people have not. So it's very difficult. There are use cases like network slicing, private networks, and all these kind of ultra low latency that were created, standardized by 3GPP, but never implemented on a scale. And because it's not just the technology, it's the business. So 5G unfortunately didn't bring it. And if you now look at what is then the result of that, the result of this flat revenue is that not only I'm saying that this is driving efficiency, but look at companies, analysts like Deloitte is saying in the industry trends. This is a flat revenue. So telco operators, especially mobile network operators where I am from, we need to optimize our cost. We need to be more efficient, and we need to do that with artificial intelligence. Then, on top of that, a byte is a byte, it contains 8 bits. There is not so much differentiation. It's a commodity, like the water, like the electricity. Mobile network operators have become, unfortunately, bit pipes. Now we need to embrace that and accept that. And how we can deal with this is what we need to work is the customer experience in this commoditized work market. So the seamless customer experience is the key. That's also what PricewaterhouseCoopers is saying. So all in all, if we summarize that, we can say that the trends, the flat revenue, at least until 6G comes, and that will take a few years, and the commoditization drives for cost control and efficiency and seamless digital experience. Now, in this webinar, we will explain you how to do that with Camunda. But before you know how to do it, it's better to understand really what your processes are all about and where you can optimize. And that's what mpmX is doing. So I would like to hand over to Lucas to talk about the, you taking the screen. Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, thanks for the good introduction and for the insights into the market. Also, welcome to this webinar from my side. Happy to have you all here and to give a little bit of insight of how we can help to optimize in such pressured environments, especially when you have a feeling where symptoms could be, but you actually have no idea where in these complex environments the actual source of these problems lie. And as you can see on the bottom, there are multiple systems, OSS, BSS, CRM, ERP, field activities, billing and services that you need to talk about and that you need to involve when thriving for efficiency or when you want to thrive for customer experience. So what about a very simple solution? You just take a digital process twin, and that could be it. You just know where all of your processes live, what actually happened inside your systems, and are able to backtrace exactly what happened. So if this sounds new to you, okay, several of the largest telcos are already deploying these kind of digital twins. So maybe something you should reach out to. But it is not too late. Mostly most telcos already have adopted process mining or process intelligence and are currently starting integrating their data to achieve such insights as we see here under this digital twin. So before we jump into how and where you should actually start using agents or optimizing processes, we need first to understand of how also in the future we can use this digital twin to optimize our operations. And first of it, I want to give you a look of how the customer insights department or everyone working in customer service and being responsible for customer lifetime value would look onto such a digital twin. So in this case, we see a simple map that simplifies the digital twin, which would actually go onto a transactional level, really analyzing any interaction a client had with a complex telco environment, being at the beginning of the customer service, when exchanging address information, when you start a move journey, later on when orders are provisioned, you receive your router or mobile device, and other service-related aspects. I won't go the whole downstream, but what the digital twin here offers is insights into where are frictions appearing. So where is customer journey or the customer experience actually being broken? And that will be one of the times where I make one reach out. And if you are interested in understanding how a digital twin can optimize your customer experience, then feel free to reach out to our homepage, where you find a reference story of our customer Telenet, who really built an impressive digital twin, exactly as we are showing here, and that you can use as a reference. So what can be examples to investigate in this area? For example, you find bottlenecks where the activation took longer than expected. You find out address errors. For example, in a call, connection was bad, the address was misspelled or misunderstood, and because you didn't check back, a truck already started rolling and delivers some services, or actually wants to start some digging at the client's home. Or also what has a huge impact is the first contact resolution. So being able to take and solve the client needs at the first contact is essential, because any additional touch points will have follow-ups needed in the downstream processes, increasing the cost and also the likelihood of being able to serve a customer happily. So that would be the customer insights department and view. But telcos are not only about customer insights. These are very, very important, but also, and that's what Jelte outlined earlier, it is about efficiency. And that's what we see the operations department looking out for. You want to automate more and more of your manual tasks that you have in your enterprise. You want to reduce the time it takes between certain activities, take the shorter process paths instead of the long and long taking ones, and also reduce any kind of internal pain that might appear while still securing customer journey, for example. Of course, we are not going into only one perspective and optimizing this one end to end, but the operations team also brings a stake to this table. And here the digital twin again can serve in, for example, mismatches in the inventory. So in this case, it is assumed that some goods are already there, but in the end, it actually wasn't there. So that's an additional friction point that you need to discover. Again, we have also an OSS BSS handoff lag that could appear. So just the operational service system already started a service, but just because of they are poorly integrated, you need to wait 24 to 48 hours. And these are also usual bottlenecks where you can start an investigation in which product groups for which type of requests these errors appear, and that can be discovered with a digital twin. And coming to the last perspective that we see, this would be the finance department. And the finance department or the CFO or all finance-related aspects, of course, on the one hand, want to ensure thriving customer experience, want to ensure that operations run well, but also ask at which costs. And that might be an argument that runs reasonable with Jelte's introduction to the 5G. So what does it cost actually to deliver the rollout of these new technologies? Where do we need to embed new technologies that we want to offer to our clients, and what costs are linked to that? So if you want to keep a track on this one, then the finance perspective will most likely look more into the invoicing or finance related money streams. And what usually can be discovered in there is bills that are not catched upon, services that were provided, for example, also more on the networking side, where different areas are requested to build cell towers or something similar. And in the end, you have to still catch up with all of these partners that are involved on each invoice, and if you delivered services to them or not, and that you ensure these invoices are taken in time and the money stays available. So pretty impressive, and pretty a lot information that you can consume. A telco is still a very complex enterprise. So how to make this information and digital twin more accessible? And that's exactly where our mpmX AI functionality comes into place, providing you the possibility to give this knowledge that is discovered in your digital twin, in your telco processes, to the LLMs, to the AIs, to the agents that are trained on all the information that is available publicly in the internet. And as telcos are mostly also related to real life processes, probably anyone in this webinar or any person has a mobile phone and also contact to networking telecommunications. These information can be used to identify quickly where you should act in your day-to-day processes. And that is what this link that we are offering with our new functionalities, to use the knowledge of AI also on the knowledge of your operation, which of course cannot be done vice versa, because LLMs are usually not trained on your daily processes. So how can this look like in an end-to-end use? You have, for example, an operational people in any department, could be in operations, could be in finance, or could be in a customer service team, that is able to prioritize on Monday morning or any time they want, where are currently the most important tasks, where they should start working or acting on it, and even asking the agent for recommendation on how he should act, what he sees in the past that worked well, and which recommendation, and can bring up a possible solution to any employee in the telecommunication that has an operational task. Additionally, for the management, which usually needs ad hoc reports, quite complex ones, about problems that appeared in the past, about forecasts based on past data, also involving legacy data, or maybe also trends of the past. And this one can be brought in just with a prompt, instead of multi-week work to collect data about certain insights. So if you are planning an invest for the future, or you evaluate which partner you should settle up, you can quickly ask your data before your meeting, and come up with an educated view based on data on where you should act and where you could help. And last, and probably the one that is mostly evolving soon, is that AI agents actually use the digital twin. So how could this look like? You build an AI agent which is responsible for invoice billing, and he will automatically request information from the digital twin to be able to provide you more proactive insights on, for example, how to act with this bill, how to act with this customer in this unique situation, or, for example, some other external factors that could be involved together. And there the agent will only contact the mpmX AI. And of course, what is also a very great usage is just asking the AI, usually how a telco process looks like. Just give me some recommendations where I can start optimizing my telco processes. So this is how we see the world moving currently. But of course, seeing where actions are needed, or you need to change for improvement, is not the whole world. You still have to convince people to change, or especially with the change acceleration we currently have. So you have to bring them on board, see where there are additional training demands to bring them in. You have business and standards that change, which is currently mostly seen in supply chain crisis, where you have to source new goods from other area, and need to react to new ways of working in such environments. Also in terms of customer experience, where you need to get onto new standards. And last but not least, we have the technology side, where you can implement new technology to optimize the problems we investigate with mpmX. You could build agents, or you could use our valued partner Camunda, who we have this webinar with today, to solve an friction, to solve an orchestration between certain systems, and bring in a solution that helps optimize the part or the problem that was discovered. And this would be the part where I hand back to Jelte, who can show you how an AI process optimization in Camunda could look like.
Thank you, Lucas. I'm trying to share the screen, but yeah, I see it's there. So at Camunda, we are very much actually making sure that that what you are finding together with mpmX that you can make your optimizations really happen in the network. And Camunda has a long history of process orchestration. Maybe you know us already from that. That was part of the time of the digital transformation. With AI, of course, we've also embraced AI, but we see also now the problems with AI, and that is the scalability of AI, different AI initiatives. So I would like to show you here the steps that Camunda has taken, and with an example. In the Camunda tools, I will stop using a lot of slides, and I will start to talk with process orchestration. So for this, I will now move to the tool, the Camunda modeler. So this is a business tool where we and business and IT can work together to define the process. I have here an example from the mobile core network. This is about the retail part of it, where you get customer care. So the mail comes in, you do something, you check if it's what kind of thing it is. Is it an outage or is it just a question? If there's an outage of something big, it goes here into a process. So this we have been doing a lot of times for decades with our customers in the telco, in the banking, insurance industry, and so on. So this is BPMN. And the interesting thing is that when you get a mail coming in, the first step that's happening here is we check, hey, what's actually in this email? And then we take a decision. This is a manual task at the moment. So, you know what? Instead of just showing you lines and boxes, I prefer that we actually introduce you first to John, your subscriber. So this is John. John is your subscriber, and he is a happy man. He liked to go to vacation to Singapore, and he has some question to you. So we asked the question to customer service. So what should you do? Well, John, you know, he spends $50 or euro per month on his collective phone bill with the broadband and everything. So this is a happy subscriber you want to keep. But giving him a personalized answer on how to work with Blindness would be costly. So in order to save costs, what you could do, of course, is you could say, instead of I do this kind of thing manually, what I can do, of course, I can change this, and I replace this one to an AI agent. I configure the large language model, and great, I save a lot of money. So that's what I have done here in the second step. I have created this model, and now the mail comes in from John, and then the AI agent will do the triage, and then this will go a certain path. Let's just see this in action, shall we? So here is John. John has here a question on the brightness of his phone because he goes to Singapore. So this is a live demo. I will send it right now. And while I have sent it, we have here a tool called the Operate, where I can see live that this process is being executed. And right now it is actually in this triage phase. And soon John has, you can see in blue here, it's followed here. So in Camunda, we don't only define the processes, we also run the processes. And it actually has followed this path. So John should get a personal reply without the human involved. Isn't that great? So here we save a lot of money, we give a personalized reply, and we send him to his local shop, because if he walks into the shop, he might buy something else, you know. So we are happy to serve him that way. But this is what everybody is doing. So let's say 3-4 years ago, this would be amazing, but probably you already are doing this. This is what everybody is doing. And is that enough? So I have added here in the tool a large language model to a task to replace the human with a large language model. And I have shown it in this Operate tool. I get an answer, and of course, we are all this kind of information, what happened in the process, we store that so our friends of mpmX can later use it for their process mining one more time, right? So that's already working. But is that enough? We have just added an AI agent, and everybody is doing that. There are many kind of initiatives like that. And many of us have been around for a while. Do you remember a couple of years ago, we had all these RPA robots taking things? There was a lot of this kind of initiatives. Now, we saw that some of our customers in Germany, they used for the customer service a lot of different service bots. And they had 3,000 different service bots, which we orchestrated in Camunda, so that they save a lot of money. They save something like 10 million euros. So there's a lot of operational costs. That was in the RPA age, and we see it now happening again in the agentic. Because AI orchestration with agents does not scale by itself. It needs a centralized, like process orchestration, it needs a centralized way of working for your compliance. And a lot of companies are not ready for that. So that's great. What is your solution then? Now, our solution is have an agentic AI orchestration in BPMN. So this is a different screen. You can see here that we have omni-channel things going in, and then here is a box in BPMN that doesn't have arrows. So these are the ETOM retail processes: trouble to resolve, request to change. Which one is then executed, actually, you would wonder? Well, that is decided by the AI agent here. The AI agent here is running one or several of these processes depending on what's needed for the context and gives a reply. But I think I lost you here. I see people looking here, puzzled to me here in the cameras. Let's make it concrete. Let's have a look at what it means for a normal business reality. So I will go back to the tool and show you a simpler example. And that's this one. So here again, the customer is here sending a question. And then we get some information on the BSS. As you can see, we are an orchestration tool. So we have connected here with a RESTful web service, but we have plenty of connectors to all kinds of systems where we get information, where we help the systems to orchestrate. Then it goes into the tool, and depending on the question, it uses the knowledge base. And you can see that this is a documentation. This is used as a tool, or it sends to the nearest shop if it's about a phone, or it creates a trouble ticket if it's an outage, or it asks a human for help. So what is being done exactly? That is depending on the context and on the bot. And here we have another one. At the end, we check for a compliance. We have a second bot that is actually checking that the email is compliant. We want to make sure that we get a professional email out, no matter if the human sends it or the agent. So let's see this one in action. And for this, I have an example. John actually is very happy because, we helped him with his phone and the brightness. Now he wants to go. He says, but what does it cost? I need to understand the roaming of Singapore. A valid question, right? This is a question you might often get. But he also asks, which restaurant do you prefer? Which is a little weird question. We want the AI agent to answer or not? No, well, not. So we have guide rails in place so that the AI agent will not answer that question. So let us send this one. I send it. And I go back to operate to see if it's being picked up. Yeah, it has been picked up. I open this one. And we see now live, it's executing, that it is currently understanding what's inside. It's currently understanding what it should do. And let me refresh it. It had actually done two things. If you see the first thing that happened, or in which order I can't see, but it has checked the knowledge base for something. But it also asked a human colleague, and you see here this one is now waiting. So this action is now waiting for a human because asking a thing about the restaurant. So now I change, and now I will be working for customer service. Okay, now I'm certainly working for customer service. I go into task list, and here I got a task. And you see the bot sees, hey, but I have a question. What restaurants do you recommend to Singapore? Because I'm an AI agent, I don't know. I asked a human in the loop. So the human in the loop, so recommend. Does anybody know a good restaurant in Singapore? It's always difficult with webinars, eh? Webinar, the sunny beach hotel, or check internet. So something in that style, and I complete the task. We go back to operate, where this one will now be picked up and will be checked for compliance. It's here because it didn't need to check for the knowledge base. It will check for compliance, and soon we will receive the email on the Singapore. And here we go. The first part has been answered by the bot by using the knowledge base that you were having about roaming. And then the second part of the restaurants to Singapore, then it uses some information here that was provided by our agent. The interesting thing is that in this concept, the human is not supervising the agent, is not supervising, but the agent is asking for help. So the agent is asking the human for help. So not that we are starting to work for agents in this case. So this is an end-to-end use case, how we with agentic orchestration can come to situations that we can do an end-to-end orchestration of various processes. So we have a lot of mileage together with mpmX, and I show you here an example how it can work in the retail, but it can also be work in the provisioning, in the rollout of networks, and other kind of places. So with agentic orchestration, we enable our customers. With agentic orchestration, we enable our customers to scale the artificial intelligence, so it doesn't become yet another siloed project. And we have a centralized governance, and all the decisions that are made by AI agents, everything is logged and stored and can be streamed to, for example, mpmX, where mpmX can later look at what happened to do things like closing the loop. And having said that, I would like to hand over to Florian.
Thank you. And let me try to share my screen. Yes. So yeah, Jelte showed us the one case of the one customer, John. I also selected the one customer. And what we see here is the path, how we onboarded him. So he ordered something with us. We did our credit check. We did our address validation. We did our services with him. And so we see the whole running down, how we onboarded him as customer, and also how we then later opened the service ticket, like how we saw with Helte. So for one customer, pretty nice. We have it really nicely under control. But the cliffhanger is there's of course not only one ticket, one customer. We have overall 3.5 million cases open in our system. And so we see here what Lucas already mentioned, the full digital twin over all 3.5 million cases. We can again look in our orders again. So we see there is normally something not so good working. There's more happening around. So we get a full picture with the digital twin over all services, over all systems in our organization, which is the beauty about it. And the next thing is we are interested in challenges we are facing, which are normally patterns we don't like. So it's like address validations failed, or loops we identify where something is done again in the same case. So our mpmX system can automatically detect that, flag that, and then give us an overview of all the challenges we face, customer experience-wise, or in all other service organizations. So we see that here, and we get them mapped out here in the plotter sketch. And down here, what does it cost us in euros? Why do we know this? Because we know how much time it costs us. We know how much time the employee spends, for example, on it, and how often this happens. So we can calculate the cost out of that. And then we could also estimate how much we would save if we would tackle that. We probably wouldn't solve it for 100%, maybe only part of it, but we could put a number on it. And out of that, plotted here, we can see if it's something is part of the right, it costs us a lot, and mostly as up as possible. So we have a lot of target savings. This is now the easy hanging fruits we should tackle because we get easily save money. And the cool thing is now next we could use something we could let it create automatically a plan to solve this. We can use our automation parts in our platform or use Camunda or any other automation solution you have already in your organization. And of course, we can also then track the progress of this implementation. So we can check of our target, how far we got there and how far we are away. So we have then the full loop of the implementation. And of course, you could ask yourself why we put a euro to it, why we just didn't make an effort part or a score behind it. Let's say this, normally the CFO is known for that he is the guy which says to your projects no. But how we already learned in the beginning of our webinar, cost and control and efficiency is like one of the most important things. So if you bring your things in the euro numbers already, what the challenge costs you and what you expect in the savings of it, you can be sure you're probably on a good route to become best friends with your CFO, which helps then also for later projects, ongoing projects there. So, but what we saw already in the digital twin, if we have the full organization there, it's quite complex. There's a lot of things going on. So I want to show you a bit the power of this mpmX AI approach. So it's a quite extreme example, but not so wide-fetched. In Berlin, we had recently the issue that some crazy people put cell phone towers on fire and attacked them. And then after that, also our infrastructure energy-wise. So there's some crazy people running around and try to shut down cell phone towers in Berlin. So that's a good question for us, how we could figure out what's the effect on our organization. So we asked the AI just here, okay, we have a disruption in our cell phone towers, expect a continual disruption for several days, use our app on mpmX to show the effects in the regions and for the customers, network impact, and recommend possible migrations and actions. And what it does now, it goes in the same way how I would go as a consultant into our platform, looking for the right app, opening it, and then starting to do the research behind it. You have also see this transparency that you can always see what he does there. So he searches right now for telco, will find our app, and then have a look into it. And the amazing thing about this, it takes away the whole complexity. I don't need to know the data in detail. I don't need to know the processes in detail. So it's a nice vehicle to get insight into the data and working with the data, even without being a data expert, without being a process expert. And we can be sure he's not hallucinating because we can always see what he does and what he does with the data, which course he does, and he also, how you see here, describes on the way what he does. So he found the app, opened it, and then filtered for Berlin region because that's the one I said I have the issues. Found the matching segments which fit Berlin, and then does the whole analyzation from there. And to speed that a bit up, because he needs a second, I did the same prompt beforehand. So we see here, if he is finished with that, he gives us a full overview of what he is expected with the outreach, what are the facts in here, which are critical, which are high, and which are medium. Keep in mind, it's coming out of our data. And then as well, does a recommended action list of what he could do next. And I copied this too, and then just told him, okay, create me some agents and tackle exactly that. And he then just opens up, creates the agents. And if you have this certain systems also connected, he could also just trigger the actions there. For example, broad send messages to the customers to warn them that like certain regions of Berlin are offline, and as well reorganize capacities and employees we have to bring them to fix the issue in Berlin. So, and that's it. And I would give back to Lucas, I think.
So thanks of all. First, Florian also and Jelte for the live demo and presentations. So yeah, I want to introduce now to the question round. Probably there are a lot, but maybe a good way is to iterate on how we what we have shown today. So what we want you to take with you is that currently state of the art in process optimization and process analysis is to build a digital twin, not one that is only limited to a certain area, not some siloed project or AI agent that only fetches some data, but really go onto your backbone of processes, fetch all operational data, and start investing in a digital twin in an end-to-end perspective. Because companies that started this approach earlier have now the benefits of what we showed with mpmX AI, that you can use AI not only for small scope problems, but actually help you investigate the whole problem in the whole organization, asking different angles, bringing multiple reports up to the show, and prioritizing any action that you take. Also, where to start accelerating and using AI. Then Jelte took over this part of the technology approach where we identified this is a Camunda opportunity. There we can see an agent orchestration totally is worth the invest, and there we should start. And he showed you how this looks like in Camunda, starting with one agent where you replace a simple task, maybe for classification of text or inbound messages, to orchestrate to further downstream processes, until even to fully autonomous and end-to-end orchestrated processes. And then again, of course, you start an initiative with an idea. Maybe you start by doing it with mpmX AI and it proposes you how you should do it. You still need to have the check loop. So you need to measure again, did it work? Did I involve all customer requests that are responsible? And did it actually solve my pain point, which I was hoping for? So did we shift the bottleneck? Did we reduce the failure rate? Is anything else moving back? For example, eventually you reduce the failure rate, but eventually you reduce also the customer contact points. Do you actually want this? So you are in a fast changing environment, and with the toolkits we provided for you today, you have an offer to be quick in implementation and realization of process improvements with Camunda or just with agents in itself. And with an opportunity to always know what is happening in your organization, because one thing is sure, with two people, with a mind of one or two people, you are not able to fully orchestrate a telco with 20,000 touch points per day and multiple processes and source systems across the whole organization. So yeah, that would be our journey, where you are happily invited to take or to go with us and bring it further, bring it into your own organization. Maybe Boris, do you have or can you give an insight about some questions that appeared? Yeah.
Sure, no worries. So thanks very much, everyone. It was very insightful. We actually have a couple of questions. So we're also coming up on time, so we'll probably have to do like a rapid fire round. So the first one is, so a lot of individual tools bring their individual agentic AI solutions to the table now, right? So this customer seems to have deployed a multitude of different agentic AI projects within their organization, and now wants to know how the orchestration layer can add value to these individuals' separate products, and how this bringing together these individual these individual projects can lead to ultimate benefit. So I think this is a question going to you, Jelte or Werner. Do you want to elaborate on the value of orchestration in the context of this diverse field of agentic AI pilots in organizations at the moment?
Yeah, of course, this is also something that we have seen before, right? When I, for example, look at the robotic age, but also the other digital transformation, there's a lot of different kind of tools. And what we see at Camunda, where most of the customers have the most value of, is we start to orchestrate that. It be process orchestration, RPA orchestration, or agentic agent orchestration. And then I think there is no company in the world where one tool fits all. So often it's a combination of things. At Camunda, we very much believe in you run the technology on your infrastructure with your existing models and your existing ecosystem. So that is our approach to this one. So it depends very much on the specific situation, but at Camunda we have a lot of mileage in just this complicated IT organizations.
All right, thanks very much. So the next question is, I think, towards you, Florian and Lucas. So you've shown the solution using Claude AI. Is this the only front end that can be used with mpmX? And how is data privacy handled? And then we have a follow-up question that goes in the same direction.
So data privacy, you can also use on-prem if you're highly secure. So and AI-wise, LLM-wise, you can use also anything which is MCP ready, means also local ones. So you could have the same experience, exactly the same, just with a local LLM. So you're completely data-wise on the highest privacy level possible. And because I forgot to say it, we are also in the CamundaCon booth 10. So if you want to have a talk in the CamundaCon, you're there. Come just say hello.
All right, thanks very much. And then one question was, in the restaurant checking context, how does the agent do web search? So I guess this is towards you, Jelte.
Yeah, in this case, we should instruct the agent to not do web search. So then it will actually say, well, I don't know. I'm going to ask an agent. So that it should not do it should not do a web search. That we would like to confine that, because this is a customer care case, right? So, but in other cases, maybe you do want the agent to get some information. You want to do that in a very controlled way. So maybe you would like, we show here some tools here that would use some processes, but you may as well use an MCP tool. So to ask in an MCP server instead of just your processes. So it's all about how you configure the system.
Okay, thank you. And then I think one last question that is also probably a blockbuster that justifies an entire separate webinar. Would be, so what is the one process in a typical telco where orchestration delivers the fastest, most defensible ROI in the first 90 days? So this is probably a getting started question, or a question with regards to where to prioritize and where to get the most leverage out of using the joint forces of mpmX and Camunda. Do you want to take that, Jelte or Florian?
I think it's a combination. It's very important to understand, of course, each case is different. So you need process mining to do there. But when there is, for example, a typical handover, it was one example that Lucas showed earlier, that you have a situation that customers need to wait a long time for something to happen. Because there needs to go, some person needs to go physically to a site to do something. So there is a lot of time and friction that can actually be solved there if we understand how we can optimize those processes.
All right. Florian, you unmuted yourself. Do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, it's mostly about transparency in this point. Like if you're on a customer journey, it can be quite complex. And then there's one thing where we want to know where we lose a lot of effort, and also it's helpful to understand how we got to this point, because how Jelte also mentioned, there's a lot of silos going on, handovers. So this end-to-end perspective is one big part of the solutions.
All right, perfect. Good. So we don't want to go over time too much. Any further questions, or if you want to follow up on any of the topics that you've heard today, Florian also already said we'll be at CamundaCon. So if you are as well, just join us there. Otherwise, we'll be sending the recording out, I think this week. So if you'll be able to catch up or follow up on any of the things that we've talked about today there, share it with colleagues, and if you want to be in touch, just reach out to us directly. So thanks very much for your time today, and looking forward to seeing you again. And thanks again to all of you for sharing your insights and knowledge today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.